Hi everyone, my name's Craig Wilson and welcome to the first episode of Season 5 of the Making the Media podcast. In this special edition of the podcast, we're going to reveal Avid's plans for the upcoming IBC show in Amsterdam. I'm the product evangelist for video and media here at Avid, and I'm going to be joined today by a great set of guests who are going to walk you through all you need to know ahead of the show and giving you a sneak peek of what's coming up on the Avid booth. So, I will be joined by Senior Director of Market Solutions Matt Feury, Senior Director of Partners and Alliances Ray Thompson, Directors of Market Solutions Daliah Naor and Derk Hagedorn, Cloud and SaaS Business Development Manager Danny Hollingsworth, and Luke Strent, who's our lead product owner for Avid Nexus. At the show, we'll have 4 pods on the booth, one focusing on Media Composer and post-production workflows, one looking at Pro Tools in the world of audio, one focused on news and our Media Central solutions there, and another looking at cloud on-demand and storage workflows. And across all of our pods, we'll also be showcasing a range of new partner integrations too, so we have a lot to get through. It's also worth mentioning if you are going to IBC that we will also have some exclusive presentations within the Skybox at IBC, so check out the Avid website to register to attend one of them. So let's start with video post-production, and for that I'm joined by Matt Feury. Matt, so tell us what we can expect to see on the Avid booth at IBC.
Well, a lot of things, Craig, but let me ask you, do AI-based innovations in speech-to-text technology interest you?
Of course. What else would I be interested in?
Well, how about new heights in integration and picture and sound workflows?
This sounds very exciting.
Yes, and if I mentioned amazing new tools for seamless video collaboration for remote stakeholders, would that interest you, Craig?
Things I could do remotely, they always interest me.
You're such a good team player, Craig. I love that. Well, if those things interest you, Craig, you should definitely come to the Avid booth at IBC and check out Media Composer and the post-production workflows. Let me start off with something I think you'll really like, and that's the new Phrase Find tool set. Script Sync and Phrase Find, two highly regarded features in Media Composer, and now Phrase Find getting that much better through Avid Ada AI enhanced functionality. We've actually added what's called the transcript tool, which is literally a window into automated transcripts of your source clips. So this is a great visual reference for both for editors of both scripted and unscripted projects. But more than just being a visual reference, I can actually edit from it. So if I want to very quickly pull together, just a rough assembly based on sound bites, I can do that right from the transcript tool. So I think people that have been following Media Composer in recent years have seen a lot of cool new things happening with speech to text and transcriptions. And now with the improvements to Phrase Find, it's gotten that much better.
Yeah, so you mentioned there about collaborative workflows, and of course, video and audio kind of need both to make things work. So tell us about the latest stuff there.
Well, again, if you've been following Media Composer for a little bit, you know that within Media Composer, we're able to export a Pro Tools session, which definitely was a step forward in making workflows between picture and sound that much better. Now in Pro Tools, we can export a Media Composer specific session. So instead of having to work with AAF and things like that and losing some crucial edit and mix metadata, I can literally create a Media Composer sequence from Pro Tools, exporting it as a Media Composer session. So actually a PTXM file. I can drag and drop that right into a bin in Media Composer. So that's really bringing the picture and sound workflows to new heights, as I spoke about. And that's also helped by the fact that Media Composer can now do pan and volume automation at a subframe level. So before with Media Composer, there's always everything had to be on the frame, whereas in Pro Tools, didn't have to do that. You have much more granularity. Well, now Media Composer is much more compatible with Pro Tools in that fashion. Plus some cool new things with waveforms that we're doing. So got to check that out too.
Yeah, that subframe stuff is pretty exciting. Now, Matt, you're over in the US. I'm here in the UK at the moment. It would be kind of amazing if you were editing something. I could see what you were doing. I mean, is there something you can tell me about that?
I was just thinking the same thing, Craig. Like, what if it were possible for us to share my Media Composer timeline as easily as we are having this conversation? That would be amazing. And it is kind of amazing. It's Avid's new Avid Huddle, which is the first fully integrated remote video collaboration tool for Media Composer. What that means, it sounds nice, but what it actually means is that right from within Media Composer as the editor, if I want to share my Media Composer timeline with you in real time and get your feedback again in real time, I can launch a huddle session right from Media Composer. And what that does is it uses Microsoft Teams to create a conversation between you and I and anybody else that we choose to invite, where you can actually see my Media Composer output. And just like in a team session where you make, notes and comments about things, you can do that with my Media Composer timeline. In fact, you can actually do annotations, scribbles. You can actually draw on the frames of my timeline. Don't do that though, Craig. That kind of annoys me. But you can do it. And it really makes it so much easier for people that are in remote situations like you in Scotland and me in the US to collaborate on the project I'm working on here in the States. And it's very secure, uses SRTs, the video transport, uses Microsoft Teams, of course, for that level of security, and very simple and cost effective. I only need one license for us to host a huddle session. Not everybody involved in the meeting has to have a license, just me, the editor. So really cool stuff like that, plus some other fun things. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, you should come by the Avid booth and ask for Michael Krulik, because I believe he's giving out those Dutch cookies. What do they call those stroopwafels? So ask for Michael Krulik. He'll give you a cookie. And lots of fun stuff to see with Media Composer and post-production at IBC.
And Matt, I've got one final question, because one of the things we talked about last year when we were at IBC was about the panel SDK. So I'm assuming there's going to be more stuff around that as well.
Definitely. I think my friend Ray Thompson is going to be talking about that if he hasn't already. I used the term new window when I talked about the transcript tool. Same thing here for Panel SDK, literally a window into new workflows that you could do within Media Composer. So third parties can actually integrate their software and the functionality that it provides right inside the Media Composer interface, for doing things like media management, archival, logging, really cool stuff with the VFX workflows, you name it. So that's something we're really excited about as well.
Matt, fantastic. Great to see you today, and I'll see you in Amsterdam for some stroop waffles and some canals together. Why not?
Count on it. Always a pleasure, Craig.
So I'm joined now by Ray Thompson, who's our Senior Director of Partners and Alliances here at Avid, and he's going to talk about some of our great partnerships and partner solutions, which we'll be showing on the booth. I mean, Ray, partnerships are such an important part, really, across all of our products, I think. So what are some of the main highlights that people who come to the booth can see, perhaps starting looking at maybe post-production workflows?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Craig. And very excited about IBC this year. Last IBC, actually, we announced the availability of the Panel SDK, which is a way to run third-party applications right inside of Media Composer. So think of it as an HTML5 window just appearing inside of Media Composer, accessible via the tools menu. And basically, it affords now a whole variety of net new workflows that in the past were either really hard to achieve, right, and somewhat sort of cumbersome to implement. And now this whole window has really made it very easy, very simple to do a whole variety of different net new things. So, for example, we have things like lens to first edit. So the company Marquis has a product called Medway that works in conjunction with Sony, as well as other sort of tool sets like LiveView that allow you to basically ingest file-based media with metadata directly into Avid environments. That includes edit on demand in the cloud, of course, on-prem, standard Avid environments, and then, of course, enterprise environments that have Media Central Production Asset Management, for example. And basically, it allows you to basically ingest media, edit content in proxy formats, and then go ahead and, once your sequence is done, request all the high res, and it'll do a partial file restore, right? As one example. So super exciting, very efficient, gets editors cutting fast, and it's all available in Media Composer. And that panel is actually out there in the wild, available, ready to go. Some other examples would be IOMovo, which is a digital asset management solution, and it has some AI capabilities baked into it. So it basically allows you to search for and find assets very quickly, and then drag those right into your system and use those assets as needed when augmenting any type of story inside of Media Composer. We also have VFX workflows with a company called Doom Solutions. They basically have a database that makes what used to be a very tedious and typically very long process of sort of editing, zoomed in on your timeline with VFX, and sort of automates the entire process so that it really saves you hours and hours and hours. And so super efficient workflow, really geared toward VFX workflows. So those are just some examples. I mean, there's so many more. We have Autodesk, formerly Moxion, doing dailies workflows. That panel is fantastic. We have, several others. I mean, the list is huge. And the good news is there's about 200 companies now that are building panels for Media Composer. It's a mix of actual Avid customers who are taking advantage of it and filling workflow gaps on their own that they'll use just internally within their organization. But we also have, I'd say, the bulk of it, which is really third-party companies building apps and running in panels. So what you're going to see over the course of the next year is just this rolling thunder of net new apps that'll be available as panels in Media Composer. Some of those we're going to be able to sell, right? Avid ourselves directly. Some you'll be just pointed at a place where you can go buy those. So lots of exciting stuff. And like you said, Craig, it's pretty cool because Media Composer has been somewhat of a closed, environment in the past. This really opens things up in a way that really hasn't existed in the past. And I can tell you the enthusiasm around it is just off the charts.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see how the panel SDKs, developed over the course of the last year. But of course, it's not just about post-production. AI is a big theme. We're talking about that here in the event today. So what about in news? What are some of the other partner solutions that we'll be showing?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the news side of things, there's no shortage of excitement, enthusiasm there as well. So we have Digital Nirvana, which is a tool set that allows you to do transcripts and captions, as well as language translations, all using AI, all right inside of Media Central. This is a really cool application that drives really high efficiencies. We've seen some early adopters really start out at about 500 hours a month, quickly accelerate to a significant amount, increase, right? Because of the efficiencies it's affording the entire operation. So that's one example. Traco, also another company who made a very cool AI solution that also does transcripts, captions, and language translations. That's also going to be shown in the booth at NAB. Traco, by the way, also makes some very cool plugins for graphics.
Ray,
so VizRT.
Ray, sorry,
yep.
you said this is going to be shown at the booth at NAB. So
sorry.
No, that's all right, man. No worries. So I'll ask the question again. I can edit it later on. Don't worry about that. So Ray, really exciting that the panel SDK has taken off so much. As you say, it was announced when we were at IBC last year. But it's not just post production, of course. AI is a big theme. We're talking about that here at the event today. But what about in news? What are some of the partner solutions that we'll be showing in Amsterdam?
Yeah, absolutely, Craig. There's no shortage of enthusiasm around what we're doing with third-party solutions inside of Media Central. Some examples would be Digital Nirvana, who make a very cool application that leverages AI to create transcripts, captions, and language translations, which drives really high efficiencies. And basically, that's available from Avid, actually, and you can buy that from us. And what it allows you to do really is drive really, really high efficiencies, saves you tons of time. And then, of course, all the resulting transcripts are searchable, accessible, and immediately driving value. There's also Traco AI, also very cool, also does captions as well as translations and transcripts. So there's two great examples of third-party tool sets that run as apps inside of Media Central that drive great efficiencies, saving you tons of time. And those will be available, shown in the booth at IBC. And then we also have several graphics plugins, by the way, that Traco also makes, one for Chiron and one for VizRT. So for those of you looking for graphics solutions, those are two very good options that are also available from Avid. We also have Chiron. Chiron is going to be showing their accessibility in their booth. There's a very cool plugin that's a Media Composer plugin. It's a AVX plugin that they're going to be showing in their booth. It's super powerful. Basically allows you to do full motion graphics inside of Media Composer, but they also have that Traco plugin for Chiron, and they also integrate it into iNews. Avid will also be showing things like XNews, right, which is our social media accessibility tool set that allows you to basically incorporate social media into your news and rundowns. Also very broadly used by our customer base and also very popular. And then we also have a whole host of other partners who will be showing all kinds of things across the show floor. So, it feels like that number gets bigger and bigger with each passing year, which is exciting to see. And so you'll be able to see all these types of things like, graphics, lens to first edit, automation, all kinds of great stuff. And so what we'll do is we're going to publish a list of where you can go and see all these different solutions all across the show floor of Avid integrations with other third parties. And like I said, it really couldn't be more exciting time, honestly, to be at Avid with these types of open platforms and, building this ecosystem out. It's really robust. And like I said, the enthusiasm is very high.
Fantastic, Ray. Sounds really exciting. Lots and lots of stuff for us to show when we're in Amsterdam. I'll see you there in a little while. Exciting times. And Ray, thanks a lot for your time today.
Thank you, Craig. Look forward to see everybody out there at IBC.
So then, what about audio? Well, to tell us about that, I'm delighted to be joined today by Derk Hagedorn from our audio team. So Derk, what are some of the latest updates that we'll be sharing with visitors to the show?
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Well, IBC is obviously a great show for Avid Pro Audio. It's an opportunity for us to talk to the customers, show off, not only some of the recent developments that we've had, but then also really show end-to-end workflows, and then kind of tease out some of our newest technologies that we're working on. So as far as the system, we're going to have one pod at the show. It's basically going to be an end-to-end system as far as Pro Tools, HDX, interfaces, Matrix 2, Matrix Studio, SyncX. We're going to have an S4 control surface there, as well as everything connected to Avid Nexus storage, right? And so, we had a recent release with Pro Tools 2024.6. Some of the features in there we had showed off as tech previews previously, but we're going to be showing off basically the recent developments for sound to picture workflows, as well as teasing out some new things.
Yeah, so Derk, I mean, lots of stuff to talk about there, lots of gear that we're going to have, so lots of different workflows that we'd be able to show. So tell us some of the specifics that we'll be showing on the actual pod itself.
So we have both a lot of workflows and features that we have introduced over the last year, specifically for audio post, as well as a lot of exciting technology previews. So one that I'm very excited about is audio post workflows with AI. So a feature that we're going to be showing off as a tech preview is Pro Tools speech to text. So this basically allows you to scan any audio file in a session for speech information. It can then be displayed as text directly in context with the clips on the timeline. The text then follows any edits that are done to the associated clips, and you can then even search and filter across the entire session for speech data via a dedicated transcript window. So this is a functionality that has already been incorporated into Media Composer that we're showing off as a technology preview specifically for Pro Tools. Some of the other sound for picture workflows that we're going to be concentrating on, ARA support is something that we first introduced with Celemony Melodyne, but I think especially for the sound for picture customer base, we really added a ton of industry standard editing solutions with the most recent release. So that includes Isotope RX Spectral Editor support via ARA, Synchro Arts Repitch Vocaline, Revoice Pro, as well as Sound Radix Auto Align 2 and Auto Align Post 2. So massively expanded the collection of ARA solutions that we support natively now, via ARA. And then as a technology preview, we're actually adding 3 more. So we're going to be previewing partner integrations with Steinberg for Spectral Layers and Wavelab, as well as Acon Digital's Acoustica plugin. So these are all really, really powerful tools for audio post. Should be very exciting. So we'll have all of those there at the booth. Another feature that we introduced with the 2024.6 release was massively improved importing of session data, right? And so we're going to be showing that off, as well as some enhancements as a technology preview that go even beyond, based on some customer feedback. So really, really exciting stuff there. And then as far as Media Composer interoperability goes, of course, we will continue to show off that that improving workflow as well.
One of the key things about Pro Tools, as you've alluded to there, Derk, is that it's a really vibrant partner ecosystem. So are there more partners that we're going to be showing off at the booth as well?
Yeah, actually, there are. So first of all, collaboration workflows, especially for audio post, are extremely important. So we actually worked with Dropbox on their Dropbox Replay product. So this is really ideal for reviewing and approval, the review and approval process. Collaboration also, even collaboration, within facilities, there is a massive improvement to the performance of Pro Tools with Avid Nexus shared storage solutions. So we will have, as I mentioned earlier, we will have, a Nexus system integrated with Pro Tools on the pod as well. So we'll be showing that off. Another obviously massively important partner to us is Dolby. And so at the end of last year, with the December release, we introduced the internal Pro Tools Dolby Atmos renderer. And with every feature release that we've had since then, we have been upping the integration and the feature set of that. A lot of that has to do with Dolby's SDK. As that expands and basically presents more features that are available to us to design to, we are integrating that into our internal renderer, and we will have a tech preview of some of the latest functionality there, including integrated dedicated speaker and solo, speaker muting, soloing, as well as have the ability to actually float the trim and down mix windows. So that just improves the general workflow for Dolby Atmos.
It's great to hear there's so many developments. Derk, I'd urge everybody to check out Pro Tools at the Avid booth. Thanks a lot for your time today.
Thanks, Greg.
So let's take a look at news now. And for that, I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague, Daliah Naor. Daliah, great to see you. First of all, what exciting things do we have planned for news, which we'll be showing on the booth?
Thank you, Greg. Great to see you too. We will be showing our Avid ADA power transcription tool. This is very exciting. You could run it in your Media Central environment, so it's secure. And it enables you to set up automatically generated transcripts on the master clips, or of course, they can be generated manually by the users. And different speakers can be identified on the clips. And then these names will carry on and ripple through the system so you can identify them whenever they speak. And of course, the transcripts can be searched using the Media Central search tool. We also have some exciting updates to our iNews client. So now we'll be offering, in addition to the existing iNews UI, we will also have a light and dark mode. So that enables you to use the different modes as you require. And in the Rundown app, we have a couple of quite exciting updates as well. We have resizing text to printing. We have advanced timing options, as well as character count, which is particularly useful for those using social media, which you use both the word and character count. In addition to that, we have some updates to the Acquire app, which are exciting, which gives you even more control over the channels of ingest, plus usability improvements. So that's great for the existing customers as well as Media Central capture users. We have some new editing capabilities with dip to color effects and the waveform scaling in the timeline. And we have a powerful new rules engine. So this brings automation to the Media Central platform. Administrators can define the rules and the processes, which can be triggered automatically. For example, if there's a new clip created in the system, it will automatically go to that particular folder. And it's all about increasing efficiency in the workflow. And in this particular case, you don't need a MAM system. Of course, if you do want a MAM system, that's absolutely fine. If the MAM system is orchestrated with Media Central, it's definitely something that you can use. With security, we, of course, as always, have a big focus on security. And we're adding support for identity providers such as Okta for Media Central Newsroom management and Media Central asset management. And lastly, we'll be previewing our integration with the Teams chat, enabling a smoother approval process.
Cool, that's really great, and lots of things to hear about there in Media Central Cloud UX. And of course, a lot of the features in Media Central Cloud UX are available in the panel in Media Composer and also in Adobe Premiere Pro as well. So it's exciting to see all of that come together. Now, at IBC last year, Avid Stream.io, our new ingest and playout solution, had just been released. So tell us what's been happening with it over the past year. And I believe we've also got some new things on the way there too.
Yeah, so Craig, you're right. We launched Avid Stream.io at IBC last year. And since then, we've sold hundreds of ingest and playout channels. I think we're even reaching 1,000 by the time IBC comes to. So yeah, very exciting. And you're invited to go to the website at avid.com to see what else is new with the Avid Stream.io. And in the past year, we've added 2 and 8 channel support configurations. This is, of course, in addition to the 4-channel configuration that we had at the launch. So it's fully flexible. It supports codecs from proxy all the way to UHD, including simultaneous proxy and high-res creation on ingest. And in addition to that, right now we're releasing the newest version of Avid Stream.io with IP-based ingest and playout. So this is in addition to the existing SDI support that we had at the launch, and it will enable you to move from SDI to IP at your convenience. And this, of course, will be with support for SMPTE 2110 for video over IP support.
Yeah, that's great, Daliah. Thanks a lot for giving us all of that information. Now, let's move on and take a look at cloud solutions and storage with Danny Hollingsworth and Luke Strent. Now, Danny, the cloud's always an exciting area for development for us, particularly around solutions such as edit on demand. What's the latest there for us that we're going to be showing on the booth?
Yeah, so we've had Avid Edit on demand service Media Composer and Nexus now for a few years, and we obviously see continued innovation in that space for us. And the story very much is about kind of expanding and growing that solution bigger and beyond just the traditional kind of post-production workflows even as well. So one of the things that we've heard from customers is for a while we had 30 seats with inside a single subscription as the maximum that you could have, and that works very well for the people that are very production focused. So production comes in, they spin up an environment of Nexus Media Composers, and then they spin it down. They might have multiple running at one time. So the 30 seat count was pretty good for most productions. But we've now seen a lot of interest from sort of larger enterprises and larger groups who want to have, single subscription with, hundreds of seats potentially as well. So we're now introducing, we'll be talking about at the show, is having, over 300 seats like an on-prem, Nexus can have, but having that available in Avid Edit on Demand now as well. So, larger subscriptions and really kind of scaling the solution out now. Click of a button still, so keeping it nice and simple and simplistic to deploy, but being able to get that scale that you would expect from an enterprise solution as well. And I think tied to that as well, the other thing we'll be really focusing on with Edit on Demand is multi-factor authentication and being able to start showing integration we have and we'll have available with Okta as well. So, security is obviously a big piece around the cloud, and multiple avenues and multiple things we do on the security front, but a big ask for a lot of customers has been getting a unified kind of multi-factor authentication solution across the Edit on Demand solution, and that's something we'll be able to show and will be available on demand for customers pretty soon.
We'll speak to Luke in just a second and talk specifically about Nexus, but I know there's been a lot of work going on within the Edit on Demand team, within the cloud team in general, and actually, across the whole Avid portfolio about looking at things in the cloud, for example, on storage tier. So what's the kind of work that's going on around that? Yeah,
great question. I think one of the things that we found with Edit on Demand is we've had our online tier storage, which is ultra high performance. Throw any post-production workflow at it and it will flatten it. It's great. It's been working great, but there's a cost associated to that. And so we found for people that have been wanting to take, larger productions or longer term productions, but still wanting to be able to edit at any point, that type of high performance storage, there's a like I said, there's a cost that carries. And actually what we're going to be previewing at the show is being able to introduce lower cost tiers of storage, but maintaining that real-time editorial capability within Edit on Demand. And maybe Luke can talk a little bit about some of the wider kind of remote collaboration capabilities that also will introduce for us there. But that's a real kind of key piece for us, is being able to have a tier of storage which will perform the way that editorial teams need, but in a way that's cost effective to take either larger productions to the cloud or longer term productions to the cloud without having to, think about too much around things like proxies or trying to keep file sizes too small, and be able to, keep the workflows that you have on-prem, take them to the cloud and in a cost-effective manner as well.
Yeah, and that's something we're going to have as a tech preview at IBC. So really exciting to hear about that. Luke, coming to you now, storage underpins, so much of what we do, and the great performance of Nexus is central to that. So tell us a little bit more about maybe some of the underlying technologies that we've been looking at with Nexus to try to address, some of the challenges that we've seen in the industry over the course of the last few years.
Oh, I'm glad you asked about that, because the last few years changed the media entertainment industry completely, introducing, pretty much everywhere in the world, geographically dispersed teams. the global pandemic, as bad as it was, it sort of introduced us to working on daily basis with people that are based hundreds of or even thousands of kilometers from where we live, and that brought an amazing synergetic effect. Now, when you these people make newer, better content that gets more views, that sells better. So that's important for our customers, and they don't want to lose that. They don't want to push people back to the office. So obviously, Nexus wants to adapt to that and help that. And we have been working on something that we will show a little tech preview during the IBC, which is very advanced caching technology that will work on your local workstation. Actually, the more affordable editing tier in EOD is possible exactly thanks to that technology, but that's only one side of the coin. The other is it will allow a full remote collaboration. So if you have an EOD system, you can either use a VM and you can spin up or down a VM whenever you need that, but you can also allow people to connect from their existing hardware and using existing NLE to storage in the cloud. Later on, we will also make that available for any Nexus system in the cloud or on-prem. And why is that important? Because it solves a huge customer problem of being able to work remotely on the very same media that other people are working. So it's fully collaborative work as it was on-prem. No need to copy media, no need to try to solve conflict versions, which really it's a lot of time. And for me, from my perspective, I worked as an editor for nearly 20 years. It's really important that it doesn't really change your workflow habits. You can keep the workflow, you can keep the tools that you like and and there's no need to switch to new solutions. There's no need to switch your team to new habits, which is always very costly and very time consuming.
Yeah, Luke, really exciting. And with all the work that's been going on about Nexus with supporting things like audio workflows as well, it's really great to hear there's like so much development and innovation going on there. So Danny and Luke, thanks a lot for your time. I look forward to seeing you at the show. And that's it. That's our whistle-stop tour around some of the key areas which we'll be showing at the Avid booth. Now, as you can probably imagine, we haven't told you absolutely everything we'll have on the show, so for that, please come and see us on the show floor if you can. We're in Hall 7, the booth number is B59. It's right below the skybox if you're familiar with the RAI, and pretty much in the position the Avid stand has been for a number of years now. If you can't make it, then keep across all the Avid social channels, as we'll be posting updates very regularly from the show floor. And as I said at the start, if you are coming to Amsterdam, check out the Avid website, as in addition to our demonstrations on the booth, we are going to be doing some special innovation presentations in the Skybox on both Saturday and Sunday at the show. But you have to register to book your place, as space is very limited. So check out the website now and sign up if you are going to be there to secure your spot. That's all for us for now. So from me, Craig Wilson, and the whole Avid team involved in the production of the podcast, thanks a lot for your time, and join us next time for more Making the Media.